There are 5 mistakes that I see sellers make all the time when they're trying to sell their home here in Los Angeles area. And selling a home is not like going to the grocery store. You don't do it every single day. Most people actually won't sell their home maybe 3 or 4 times at most during their entire lifetime. And selling a home is probably the biggest financial transaction that you will ever do in your life. So you want to make sure that you get every single dollar out of this home sale as possible. So if you were selling your home in the LA area, make sure you watch this video all the way through because there are some really good tips that you need to know before you sell your house here. As I said before, most people don't sell their home every single day. So the number 5 tip that I recommend is to make sure that you give yourself enough time to prepare to put your house on the market. And the reason why I say this is like, for example, I have a listing in Highland Park. It's a beautiful property and we have killer marketing on it. But it took almost 3.5, 4 months before the initial conversation to actually putting it on the market. There are things that you will want to do to your property before you hit the market in order to maximize your profits. In this example, I had him remove a lot of his furniture in the property. We had the property staged. We had some things repaired. And then we had to deal with some title issues. You want to make sure that all of those things are corrected before you put your house on the market. And that sometimes can take a lot of time. And most sellers do not expect that it's going to take that much time. Some are really quick and really efficient, and there's not a lot of things that you need to do to put it on the market. But in other cases, there are things that I would recommend doing prior to putting it on the market in order to maximize your profits. One thing that really helps with my clients is to work backwards from the actual goal. So let's say you want to be moved in by the end of the year, and it takes 30 days for an escrow and 30 days to get a contract on your house. Then you know you have 2 months from the time that you put it on the market to closing. So then you can work backwards from there. Always, always, always give yourself enough time because you don't want to be rushing the process. Sometimes when you rush the process, you will lose out on thousands of dollars. My number 4 tip is to make sure you have a really good pricing strategy. A lot of sellers will overprice their property in the hopes that somebody will offer a little bit less, but they got more than what they originally expected. Well, this can be very problematic for a lot of sellers, especially in the Los Angeles market, because in LA, 47% of homes are selling for above their asking price. And I do work with buyers as well as sellers. And the buyers I'm working with currently, most of them, when they see a home that is in a really great neighborhood, that's in excellent shape, they expect that that home is going to sell for above its asking price. If a home is already at the very top of the market or above the market value, most people think, well, it's going to sell for $100,000 more. I'm not even going to bother offering because it's out of my budget. By overpricing your property, you are eliminating a huge portion of buyers who are willing and able to purchase a home. But when it's so overpriced, people will not even consider it and it will stay on the market. And what do you think when you see a house that has been on the market for 3 months right now? It's what everyone thinks. What's wrong with it? That is the last thing that you want people to think. Oh, what's wrong with it? It's been on the market a long time. There must be a problem. Overpricing can delay a sale and increase your holding costs, which ends up netting you less in the long run anyway. Another pricing strategy that I see a lot of times here in the Los Angeles area is to price properties under market. Now, there is a risk to that as well. If you price it too low, you might not be able to jump up to the price that you're really wanting. But it does generate an incredible amount of traffic and multiple offers. That's where you really see properties get bid up above their asking price. When a property is slightly under market value, then you will typically see multiple offers. Now, this all depends on the neighborhood, which brings me to my 3rd point, is understanding local data. If you follow the news, very often you will get a national headline for real estate that doesn't have a lot to do with local real estate. Make sure that you understand what is happening locally in your neighborhood. For example, if you are going to be selling your home by yourself and you're trying to figure out what to price your property at, you want to make sure that you look at local sales and you want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges. If you have a single story home, then you want to look at other single story homes that have sold within the last 6 months. You don't want to look at properties that are over 250 square foot on either side. So let's say you have a 2,000 square foot house. You want to look at comparable sales that are 1,750 square feet all the way up to 2,250 square feet. That is what an appraiser is going to look at in terms of comparable sales. And you want to make sure that it's within the last 6 months. If it's a year ago, it's a different market than it was. If you're looking at properties that are 1,000 square feet bigger, it's not really a comparable sale. So understanding what is happening in your subdivision and your neighborhood is really, really important when you look at selling your home, because that information, that data is going to be what is used by an appraiser. And if you have a really hard time figuring out what to price your home at, you can always hire a local appraiser to give you an appraisal of the property based on market value. The number 2 tip that you need to avoid is not presenting your home well. I mean, this sounds super obvious, but there's a lot of things that go into selling a home, and presentation and how it looks is at the very top of the list. Like I said before, I work with buyers all the time, and I always notice the moment when they fall in love with a property. And let me tell you, no buyer falls in love with a property that is a fixer-upper and needs a lot of work. They are like, oh yeah, I can make it work, but they never fall in love. What you want to do is you want to get people to fall in love with your property. And that means the presentation of it. You want to make sure that the curb appeal is perfect. Is the lawn mowed? Do you have fresh flowers? Do you have dead trees around the yard? Do you have leaves blowing all over the place? Are the eaves peeling? Do you have broken windows? Do you have the house staged? Are you a hoarder and you need to get rid of some stuff before you sell? All of these things make a huge impact on your bottom line. And not presenting your home well makes a huge, huge difference. Not only does it make a big difference in person, but it makes a huge impact on your photos. Most buyers start their search online. So the first impression they're going to get is from how the pictures look. If the pictures look like it's super cluttered and it's not well designed, they'll probably skip over your property. Presentation really matters, which brings me to my number 1 mistake that I see a lot of sellers make: choosing the wrong real estate agent. Now, you don't have to use a real estate agent to buy or sell a home here in the Los Angeles area. You can absolutely do this 100% by yourself. If you want to do all the comparable sales, you want to do the marketing, you want to handle all escrow and title, if you want to handle all of the inspections that are required with each different municipality, go for it. It is totally accessible, and you could probably watch a YouTube video about it. But if you don't have the time, if you don't have the expertise, if you don't have the team in place to handle a sale like this, hire a good real estate agent. And here's how you know you have a good real estate agent versus a not good real estate agent. First of all, they'll answer their phone calls and they'll respond to your emails. You would be shocked at how many agents I call and email and I never get a response from. So that is number 1, and it should be a given, but you'd be surprised at how many agents don't call you back. The second thing would be to make sure that they understand how to market your property properly. There's a statistic that said 32% of realtors don't have any kind of social media. That is absolutely shocking to me, because that is the easiest and most effective way to market a property. If you look at my social media, like my Instagram, my TikTok, my YouTube, I have an extensive amount of marketing that I do on that property, which educates people, which gives property tours, gives you market trends. All of this stuff is really important. And it is not just fluff. I have sold $6 million of sales directly from TikTok and Instagram. Buyers find me on these platforms because I know how to market them. You also want to make sure that your real estate agent is hiring a professional photographer, a videographer, drone footage. You want to make sure that they have your own dedicated property website. All of these things are critical when you're marketing in Los Angeles. LA is a very sophisticated real estate market, and it's super expensive. So the expectation of both buyers and sellers is very high in the city, and you want to make sure that your real estate agent can match that expectation of the market. Marketing your home and getting the most amount of exposure is the most important part when you are selling your home, and the marketing is critical. If you don't know an agent like that, hi, I'd be more than happy to help you out. My name is Felipe Crook with EXP Realty. If you want to see what your home is worth, there is a link in my description that's called home value, just click on that. Or if you wanted me to come by and see your property, give you my assessment on what you need to do to make sure that you get the most money out of this as possible, give me a call. The link is also in my bio, or you can call me directly at 213-268-6832. Again, my name is Felipe Crook with EXP Realty, investing in your dreams.